Hi guys. Hi everybody. How are you? Welcome in. Happy Wednesday to you guys. Always have to check. Never know exactly what day it is. Sometimes I see you on Wednesdays, sometimes I see you on Saturdays. And actually I will be seeing you again this Saturday. So you're not getting rid of me that easily. You guys are going to see me twice this week. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sarah Ellis. I'm here teaching a ring class for you guys. I am a designer for Beadalon, and I'm going to be showing you how to make some quick and easy instant gratification at its highest point in my mind, rings. These are super, super cool. And rings are one of the things that I probably get asked the most about. I teach a lot of classes. I teach a lot of people how to make jewelry. And it seems like rings are in high demand. Everybody wants them. And I feel like it's probably because you can see them yourself. It's not like a necklace or earrings, like other people can see them. But when you wear a ring, you can admire it yourself. And I feel like this project's going to kind of help demystify wire rings, because they're a lot easier than I think a lot of people think they are. I'm going to show you how to do these with the acrylic roses that you can get at Michael's, these really cool beads. They have a nice flat back, but you're also going to be able to do this with a lot of different other beads. So you don't have to just stick to the roses, but I feel like the roses are definitely a good kind of spring feeling design, right? And they come in a lot of different colors, which is cool. So I'm going to be using some blue and some off-white kind of cream color to show you. We're going to be using some 20 gauge artistic wire and a ring mandrel and a cutter tool. And that's basically it. So let's get to it, you guys. This is going to be a fun one. It's going to go by quickly. I'm going to show you a variation on this. So we're actually going to make a ring twice, but I do want to show you like the plain version first, and then I'll show you the beaded version, which I have on right now. So the roses that I'm using are just these acrylic roses. You get several of these on one of the cards, and have a nice flat back. This one is a little bit more rounded, but for the most part, they have a nice round back. This is a flat back. This is a great thing to practice with. I definitely would start out with a flat back bead if possible before I jumped into using a round bead, just because the round beads can be a little bit more tricky, but honestly, they're both really, really easy to work with. So I don't think you're going to have any problems at all. So just grab a rose, whatever color you want to use. And then as far as the artistic wire is concerned, I'm going to be using 20 gauge silver, the tarnish resistant silver, tarnish resistant silver for this project. And I'm using artistic wire, which a lot of people who have been a part of my classes before, or if you join me on my Facebook Lives, know that I am normally a big advocate for German style wire. That's my favorite wire to use for wire wrapping. It is not a dead soft wire. So it is tempered, it has a little bit more rigidity. This artistic wire is a dead soft round wire, which means that it is very malleable, very soft and bendy and flexible, which is exactly what we need. And if you are just starting out, this is going to be the right choice for you as far as making life easier on yourself when it comes to these rings. And not only that, but the artistic wire comes in a large variety of colors. So you really could change this up if you wanted to. You don't have to stick with just the silver. So you do have lots of options color wise. All right. So all you're going to need is about 24 inches of the artistic wire. And that's just a good beginner length. Once you have kind of mastered the basics of the ring, then you may find that you want to switch that up and use more or use less. Okay, so I've cut 24 inches. And as far as tools, what I have on hand is I've got a cutter tool. I do have a pair of pliers just in case I need them. We're going to use those, just chain nose pliers to kind of tuck in the ends of our wire. But a mandrel, that's number one here, is going to be the mandrel. If you don't have a mandrel, find something round that's going to be around the size of the ring that you're going to want and use that. So you don't have to have an actual mandrel for this. I've seen people do this on permanent markers. What are the highlighters? They tend to be a little on the fatter side. So if you don't have a mandrel, you haven't had a chance to grab one yet, you can still make a ring. All right, so I'm going to use the smaller one here just so that it'll stay in the frame. With my 24 gauge wire, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my rose or the bead, whatever I'm going to be using. I'm going to thread that on, and I'm going to bring that to the middle of that wire. And I do want to bring those ends together so that I'm pretty sure that I do have the middle here. Okay. And if you're going to be using a bigger bead, you might want to use a little bit more wire. I'm going to lift you guys up just a little bit here. I feel like, there we go. Okay. I want you to be able to see as much as you can with this. Okay. So once you have put your bead onto your wire and found the middle, now you want to, if you're using your mandrel, you want to find the size that you want, and you want to go up a size. So in other words, if I want a size 6 ring, I want to place my flower at the size 7. And the reason is because you have to take into account all the wrapping that you're going to be doing. The more wire wrapping that you do, the smaller the band is going to be. So you definitely want to start bigger, and you're going to end up with the right size. Okay, so if I want a 6, I'm going to start here on the 7. If I want a 7, I'm going to start down here on the 8. And I think I'm going to start on the 7 here. So I'm just going to place my my rose right up against the surface of the mandrel. And I'm taking the wires to the back. I want to take one of the wires, and it doesn't make any difference which one is the top or which one is the bottom, but you want to pick one to be the top wire. Okay. And then you want to pick one to be the bottom wire. So you want one to go one way and one to go the opposite way. Now, depending on how thick of a band you want your ring, I like to make mine kind of thick. So I wrap around, you can see the band on this one. I wrap around 4 times. I make 4 wraps. If you only want 2 wraps, you definitely can do that as well. So there's a lot of variations here, but you want to hold that bead up against the mandrel, okay? And whatever your top wire is, you want to wrap that to the front and then back around, okay? So you've got a wrap, and then you're back up here to the front where your flower is. And then you want to take your bottom wire and do the same thing. You want to wrap around again, and back up here to the front. Now you're going to notice that all your wraps are very far apart. We want to squeeze all of these together. In fact, because our flower is nice and flat, we're going to move those wraps to the underneath of the flat surface of that rose. And you can pull a little bit more on your wire to kind of snug everything down. As you're wrapping around, it does tend to get a little loose on you, but you've got the opportunity to really move that wire around. You're not locked into anything until you are happy with it, right? Don't let the wire boss you around. You got to be the boss of the wire. So I've wrapped around, I've kind of squeezed those wraps underneath the flat surface of my rose. I have my top wire coming out to my right, my left wire coming out to the left. It may be different for you, but that's basically what we've got. We need one wire going one way and one going the other way. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take those 2 tail ends of the wire, and we're actually going to chase each wire, which I know sounds a little weird, but you're just going to have to trust me on this. So we're going to take this top wire, and I'm going to wrap that top wire around the base of the flower up until I meet this bottom wire. When I meet the bottom wire, I'm going to drop the top wire, pick this bottom wire up, and wrap it around until I catch back up with the bottom wire, right? So it's kind of a chasing motion. You're just picking up the wires and wrapping around until you meet up with the wire you just wrapped with, right? Okay, so chasing around and chasing around. And what we're doing is we're building a wire wrapped base around that bead, whether it is a flat bead like our rose or a round bead. You're going to do the exact same thing. So the steps are not going to change regardless of what kind of bead you're using. Okay, so what we want is we want to stop where one wire is coming straight down and one wire is going straight up and down. These are going to be our wrapping wires now, where we're actually going to secure the ring bundle we're going to bundle the bands. You want to leave yourself a couple of inches. I actually want to go around one more time with mine. I don't need all of that extra wire for wrapping, but you want to be sure that you've got at least 3 inches here, maybe a little more, just whatever you're comfortable with, really. The measurements are more than anything just kind of a guideline for you and your comfort level. Okay, so I've left myself a few inches on each one of the wires. Now I'm going to slide this off of the mandrel. And notice how I'm holding everything. I'm still holding everything together. Okay, because those wires, because we haven't bundled them together yet, they want to separate on you. So you got to hold them all together nice and tight. Now we're going to start on one side, and we're going to take this wire that is coming down here towards us, and I'm actually going to bend it to the inside of the ring. And I'm going to push it through and actually wrap around this outer, all these bands that we made here. Okay, so I'm going through the center of the ring and bundling up the bands by wire wrapping around them. And I'm going to wire wrap around those about 3 times. Okay. And this is definitely one of those where after 3 wraps, you are going to no longer be making your ring strong. You're just adding decoration. So in other words, after 3 wraps, your ring is secure. You don't have to worry about the base. Any extra wrapping that you do is just going to be a decorative accent. Also, though, take into consideration that any extra wrapping that you do around the band is going to make the band a little bit smaller, because all of those wraps, of course, are going to take up some room. So keep that in mind as well. All right, so once you've done one side, you want to come over here and we want to do the other side. And notice I haven't trimmed this off just yet. I'm going to leave that there. You can go ahead and trim it if you want to. I just feel more comfortable leaving it until the end. Okay, so the other side, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take that wire and I'm going to bend it to the inside of the ring. And very gently. That's why this artistic wire is really good for this, because you've got lots of flexibility here. You're going to kind of pull and tuck and wrap all at once. Okay. And then wrap around the bands about 3 times. And I like mine to match. So if I do 3 on one side, I definitely want to do 3 on the other side. Okay. Now, when it comes to trimming off the excess wire, we're not quite done yet, but once it comes to trimming off the wire, I like to either trim the wire on the side or up here on the top. A lot of people don't like to trim on the top because you do see that cut section of the wire, but I don't like to trim on the inside of the band just because I don't want to feel it up against my finger. So I definitely try to keep it maybe to the side of the band. Come in with my cutter tool and trim as close as I can. If I feel like that wire is sticking out too much, this is when you can grab your pliers if you need to, and just kind of pinch on that wire wrap and press that wire down so that it's up against the bands and it's not going to be sticking out. Same thing with the other side. I'm going to trim towards the outside of the band and come in with my pliers, just kind of squeeze that up against the surface of the bands here. And now I got to put this back onto the mandrel because we've bundled all of our wires. Some of the wires might be crisscrossing a little bit, but we want to put this back on the mandrel to straighten up the wires and to make sure that we bring it back to that nice round shape in case our fingers have heated up the wire and we've kind of knocked it out of shape. And we want to wiggle it down to the size that we want. So remember, we started here at 6 and we want a size 7 band. So we're going to wiggle all of that down, right? And push it down to the size that you want it to be. Okay. If you need to come in and kind of squeeze up your wrapping wires that go all the way around, you can do that if you need to. If you've wrapped nice and tight, you may not need that. But for the next variation of this ring, we actually want those wraps to be a little bit further away from the base of our bead. But now we've got our ring. It was that easy. I'm going to take it off of the mandrel here and give you a look at what we actually have. So we have a nice little, it's sort of like a little nest for our bead. And again, it's going to look exactly the same whether you're using a flat backed bead or a round bead. You've got your nice band. It's nice and strong. You don't have to go around 4 times. You can do 2. If you do 2 wraps around, that's going to be nice and strong too. So don't worry about that by any means, but you've got a really pretty ring. Instant gratification, like love, love, love. These make great gifts. These are one of those where if you just need a quick something to go with your outfit, you can run to your desk real quick and put these together after you've practiced them a few times. Super easy to do. All right, so let's do one more and I'm going to show you how to add some beads to this just to kind of take it to the next level if you want to. This is just one of a million different things that you can do to kind of take this main design to the next level. So I've actually added, let me take this one off so I can show it to you. So on the sample here, you can see I've just added seed beads to our outer wraps. And that's really all there is to it. So we're going to do this just the exact same way. I've grabbed some of these gold John bead seed beads in a size 8, but you're welcome to use whatever seed beads you want to. In fact, if you wanted to forego seed beads and use another kind of bead, like a 3mm bead or a 4mm bead, you definitely can do that. Seed beads are just a good starting point if you want to take your ring to that next level. So I've dumped out a few of my seed beads here and I've got another piece, same thing, 24 inches of my 20 gauge wire. And this time I'm going to use one of these beautiful cream colored roses. I'm going to thread that onto my wire. And again, I'm going to bring that to the middle, find the ends because that makes it a lot easier to actually find the middle of that wire. And I'm going to place this on the mandrel and same steps. Everything is exactly the same. If I want a size 6 ring, I'm going to bring it down here to the 7. If I want a size 7, I'm going to bring it down here to the 8. Okay. So I'm going to place that on. Let's start at the 6. Okay, I'm going to place that up against the surface of the mandrel. And notice it's sitting flat. There's no extra room there. Don't think you need any wiggle room. It needs to sit right up against the surface of that mandrel. Coming to the back, same thing. I'm going to pick a wire to be the top. I'm going to pick a wire to be the bottom. And I'm going to start with my top wire. I'm going to wrap around once, all the way around. And then I'm going to wrap around a second time and come up here to the front. And notice I've taken those wires kind of behind the rows. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom wire. I'm going to go around all the way around once. And then all the way back up here to the front of the bead. Okay. So I've got one wire going one way and one going the other way. I'm going to kind of pinch all those wires together to bring them down to make a compact band here with those. Okay. And I'm going to give a little tug on each end of the wire just to kind of make sure they're nice and tight against the mandrel. Don't want there to be any wiggle room. And I really try not to have my wires crisscross each other. Sometimes it's really hard to make sure that that happens, particularly when you start the wire wrapping process. They do tend to kind of jump around and want to lay on top of each other. I try to keep them as flat as possible just because it makes a more comfortable ring to wear. All right, so here we are back at the front again, and we're going to wrap around a few times before we actually add these beads. So we're going to take one of the wires is coming down, one of the wires is going up, take one of them, chase around to the other wire, pick up that wire, chase until you get to this one, wrap around. Now this time we want to stop when we have a little bit more, got a little extra wire. So before, when we didn't add any beads, we only had maybe 3 or 4 inches here to work with. You want to be sure that if you're going to add beads, you give yourself a little extra wire here to work with when you're ready to add your beads, because the beads do take up some space. Okay, so I've got a wire coming up here at the top, a wire coming down here at the bottom, and I'm going to start with my bottom wire. And I have to very carefully, because you don't want to take this off of the mandrel, right? We want to hold everything still on the mandrel. So I'm going to thread my beads on as best as I can. I normally would be able to, use my wire like a needle and just pick everything up. But because I've got to hold everything on the mandrel nice and secure, you do kind of have to, you got to do each bead one at a time, which is just a little time consuming. Doesn't take a long time. But I'm going to thread on a few inches of seed beads here. You can use whatever size seed bead you want. And like I said, you can use bigger beads, 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter, 4 millimeter. Any of those are going to work. Okay. So we're going to add just a few inches here, and be sure that you don't fill up the entire wire because you still need extra wire to wrap around the bands as well. Okay, so you want to be sure you leave yourself at least 2 inches of wire that you can wrap around. All right, so there's a little bit of that. I'm going to wrap it around and just kind of look. That's going to go around 1.5 times. Okay, now I'm going to come to the top wire here and I want to add beads to it as well. I'm going to try very carefully to hold everything with my fingers and pick up the beads this way. So it is doable. Just got to make sure you don't let go of anything. All right, so just picking up the beads, and there's a huge variety of colors of seed beads at Michael's. So you don't have to go with the gold. I just thought the gold looked really, really beautiful with this cream colored rose, but it's up to you. A rainbow seed beads all around would be really pretty as well. All right, so I've added some seed beads to that end. Again, I'm just going to kind of wrap around, take a look and see if I need to add more beads or take beads away. Kind of wrap, right? And also pushing those seed beads because you want those to be nice and snug as well, right? You don't want there to be, unless you want there to be, you know, big gaps between your beads. But for the most part, I want mine to be as seamless as possible. So I can see I don't have quite enough over here on this side to make it to the band. That's what I want. I want my beads to make it to the band before I start wire wrapping. So I am going to, on this one, add just a few more. And there's no official count for the seed beads either. You kind of just have to add as you need them. And drop a few. That's that's totally okay too. All right, so we're pretty close. Looks like maybe 2 more. Okay, so that's going to get me right up against the band on that side. Now over here on the other side, it's a little bit different story. I'm going to need a few more beads over here. And I got to be careful because I'm also running short on wire on this side. So I may have to make some adjustments before I actually do the wire wrapping, and that's okay. That's all right. As long as you've got enough beads on the top wire and the bottom wire to make it seem like, you know, you've got at least one good wraparound of beads, you're good to go. You're good to go. All right, so now very carefully, because I don't want to lose my seed beads. In fact, you might want to bend your wires up at least for now so that they don't fall off. We're going to slide this very carefully off of the mandrel. And again, we're holding everything in place. Okay, so still holding my band nice and tight. I'm going to come with one side. And again, you got to be careful. Don't lose your seed beads as you're going, and bring that wire, go to the inside of the ring. And you just want to follow the same steps and wrap around your bands about 2-3 times. 3 times is the perfect amount to make sure everything is nice and secure. Okay. So there's that one. And I will go ahead and trim. I know I didn't last time, but I just want to show you that it doesn't matter at what point you trim your tails off. Okay. So I'm going to trim that one off. Now I have a little bit more flexibility here. I don't have to be so worried about my beads because I can kind of let go of things a little bit. Okay. Same thing coming over here to the band. I'm going to take my excess wire here without the beads and bundle by wire wrapping around about 3 times. Okay. All right. And now I'm going to come in with my cutter tool and trim off And again, I'm going to come in with my chain nose pliers here just to make sure that those wires are not sticking out. Can really kind of push those up against the band. Okay. And now the last thing to do, that looks so pretty. I love that. That's so pretty. So the last thing to do is just to put it back on the mandrel. Again, you just want to make sure that if you've kind of squished it into more of an oval shape, you want to bring it back to that round shape, and you want to wiggle it down here to the size that you want. And it looks like mine's not going to quite be a 7, but it's pretty close. So definitely take into consideration those extra beads are going to make a little bit of an adjustment. I could keep twisting here and get it all the way down. It's right at the 7. So it was just slightly off. But remember that you want to start a size bigger because it's going to end up not exact, right? And as you're wiggling it, you're going to straighten those bands back out too. And that's going to be really comfortable to wear. So now we're just going to take it off and take a look at it, and you're ready to go. Ta-da! Aren't they pretty? I love these. They're so easy to do, and there's so much versatility here. You can change the colors of the roses. Michael's has some really beautiful clay flower beads that would look really beautiful. We actually used some of those in a bracelet project that I did not too long ago. Those would look beautiful as the rings as well. Round beads work, and then anything you want to put around them on the outside. They look awesome without anything, but if you want to take it to the next level, you know, some bead soup, seed beads around there would definitely give it an extra little pop of color. Lots and lots of fun. You can also get decorative with your outer wraps if you want to. You can, you know, twist them around and make little curly cues. Like, you can do a lot of fun things with just this basic design. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'm going to turn you guys around and show them to you from a different angle, and then we will say goodbye for the day. All right. Okay. All right, so let me just show them to you this way, but sometimes things look a little bit different. But there's just the plain, right? And you can see that band. It's nice and flat, so it's really comfortable to wear. I don't feel any of the wire wraps or anything like that. It's just really, really comfortable to wear, nice and round, and I don't have to worry about it losing that shape. That shape, even though it's artistic wire, it's really going to keep that shape. That's the beauty of the 20 gauge. For that artistic wire. And then the other one with all of the beads wrapped around, just a little extra bling, right? Just a little extra something to add to your design if you want to. Just a little extra fun. They're super fun to do for spring. They make great presents if you've got to give a gift real quick. These are super cool. You can slide these onto, you know, a little bundle of fresh flowers to give to your friends. Super cool instant gratification jewelry. Easy to master. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and ask me. I'm always available for help, you guys. And if you do not mind to add the hashtag or the Michael's online classes to your projects if you post those online, or you can Sarah Ellis Designs so that I can see them as well, and I'll share them around to everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys will catch me again on Saturday with another fun class. I'm looking forward to it. So I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.